Welcome to this very special broadcast. I am Ameya Sathaye from sarkaritel.com and diplomacyindia.com. As you know, India is passing through a very brutal second wave of COVID 19, and the entire healthcare system is overwhelmed. It is short of many things like oxygen, ventilators, and it seems to be the crisis of the century. In this hour of extreme distress, and global community has led a helping hand. Today we have a very special guest joining us today, His Excellency Mr. Nadir Patel, the High Commissioner of Canada to India. Welcome, Excellency, to this very special broadcast.
Thank you, and thank you for having me here today.
Sir, my first question is, how is Canada helping India in this hour of crisis?
You know, Canada and India have been collaborating over the last year on COVID. Our prime ministers have spoken a number of times, our foreign ministers have spoken a number of times, including recently. In the current situation, in the current crisis here, the first shipment from Canada of ventilators and 25,000 vials of remdesivir arrived on the weekend. There'll be another flight arriving later this week. In total, we'll have 350 ventilators from Canada. We'll have 25,000 vials of remdesivir. In addition to that, Canada has contributed $10 million to the Red Cross, the Indian Red Cross, through the Canadian Red Cross. And that was done a couple of weeks ago in order to allow an early opportunity to procure urgently needed supplies here locally. In addition to that, Canada has contributed through UNICEF the purchase of 1,450 oxygen oxygen units as well. And then on top of that, a number of other organizations around Canada have stepped up. A number of provinces, Ontario, Saskatchewan, have contributed 3,100 ventilators. Business groups and organizations have contributed millions of dollars, either through the Red Cross, Care Canada, local organizations, their own companies on the ground, working to procure supplies for much needed relief operations as it relates to the healthcare system here. And as I said, you know, last year collaboration was quite extensive as well, whether it was on pharmaceuticals, whether it was on vaccines. And I think the general premise, and our Prime Minister has talked about this as well, that COVID cannot be defeated in any one country unless it's defeated in every country around the world. So there's never been a more important time for us to step up and collaborate and help each other out. And that's exactly what's happening, not only Canada and India, but so many other countries coming together.
Excellency, just a supplementary question on this. You know, how has the Indian community based in Canada, they have also supported this crisis?
Well, the outpouring of support has been incredible. So many organizations, Indian diaspora organizations, business associations or chambers of commerce that are active in India or focused on India have all stepped up to organize fundraising drives for the Red Cross, or even procure their own sort of equipment to send over here. And we've seen some of that happen already. I'm daily receiving queries from community groups or folks of the diaspora or Canadian companies active in India to see how they can help out. And even here, the Indo-Canada Business Chamber has stepped up and trying to facilitate interactions between Canadian companies and Indian partners that could contribute or make an impact in terms of what's much needed here. So there's been a lot of stepping up, and that's not slowing down. You know, there's virtual fundraisers and other initiatives that are taking place later this week, and we'll see more of this.
There's one more question which comes to my mind, like this COVID crisis, when it started last year, I think the first to get hit were, I think, US and Canada, you know. So we just would like to know how you handled that time the crisis, and what's the present situation now in Canada?
Well, you know, like many countries, Canada is approaching its COVID combat plan using science-based approach. We have experts in the Public Health Agency of Canada and Health Canada and others that are contributing not only nationally, but also by province as well. But ours is largely driven by science. And of course, the vaccine rollout, like here in India, is well underway. And there's an advisory committee that advises on the vaccine administration as well. So based on a science-based approach, we're doing our part. And I think there's certainly challenges in many countries around the world. Canada's not excluded from that, but together as countries collaborate, there's no doubt that we'll get over this. The question is how quickly we can do that. And the best way to do that is together rather than going it alone.
If we talk about the numbers, how much of the Canadian population now has got vaccinated?
I don't know the exact number. Last I had seen, I think it was around a third, but we'd have to get back to you on the specifics. I think the point there is going to be that there's the movement to vaccinate folks is well underway, just like it is here in India as well. And, and of course, just by the sheer population size, it's difficult to make headway. But if you look at the fact that in India, I think it's what last I saw was about 140 million people that had been vaccinated here, which is a very large number, absolute terms, but percentage of population-wise, it's a small number, relatively speaking. So I think we're really focused on coverage as quickly as possible, and it's not unique to our countries. I think there's many countries are in that same space. The greater and the quicker we vaccinate, the better it'll be. That'll be one of the major measures to attack COVID. And then, of course, add to that the infection control measures such as masks, washing hands and whatnot, and the guidance that comes out from our health agencies as well as the WHO will be an important part of combating COVID.
So we can safely say that the situation is absolutely under control in Canada. Should not be.
Well, I'd say like everywhere, I think there's more work to be done. And you're seeing hotspots in many countries around the world, despite the progress as well. But again, I think as long as there's a plan afoot, and there is, then I think that'll make the big difference as we look forward to the future.
Has the strategy been changed? Like earlier last year when you saw there were national lockdowns, now are they going to local lockdowns? Is the strategy changing when you talk about the scientific way of handling this crisis?
I think our strategy, whether there or in India, is informed by expertise. And if there's advice to slow things down or go into, like here in Delhi, there's an administrative put down the curfew or a lockdown. I think then that's the advice that would follow. It would be driven by a science-based approach. And it's not unlike other countries in the world.
Excellency, what India can do better to overcome this crisis? India is already doing a lot, but if you have any ideas.
Well, I think India has stepped up, whether it's centrally or across the state level, to bring in additional support from around the world, as we have just talked about, whether it's Canada or other countries, doing targeted measures to sort of contain the hotspots. Asking folks to follow the infection control measures, I think, is really, really important. And I think ramping up the vaccination program, which India is doing, I think will contribute greatly as well. So, these measures are the right measures. The question is how much time will need to pass before they fully get on top of the growth curve of the virus. And we're certainly hoping that'll be sooner than later.
Any message for our Indian viewers?
Well, I think it's as I said earlier, there's never been a more important time for people to come together, step up, and help out. And it's really about navigating through this crisis and staying as positive as possible, despite the very, very heartbreaking situation that so many families have found themselves in. But we will overcome this, and it's just a matter of continuing to follow the instructions and working together, and we'll get over it.
Thank you, Ambassador Nadir Patel. That comes to the end of this interview, and from the bottom of my heart, on the behalf of entire India and also our viewers, we would like to thank Canada for this support in this extreme situation of crisis.
Thank you very much, and stay safe. Thank you.
This is Ameya Sathaye for sarkaritel.com and diplomacyindia.com signing off from New Delhi. Thank you very much.